Hey, I'm DJ from RidersWholesale.com. We've got our 800cc Wolverine sitting here in the crate. We're going to show you how to properly assemble this unit. We unscrew all the framage and move all that, and then we unwrap everything and lay it out nice and neat, and then we'll be ready to start to assemble this unit. This is the way it's going to look right here whenever you get everything off of it and everything unwrapped out of the box. As you can see here, it really ain't a whole lot of pieces to put together. All right, over here on our table, we've got our toolkit laid out. Here's your winch cord too. It's a long winch cord so you can get way away from the machine. I really like that. Your receiver hitch adapter. Here's your title. You're also going to have your winch booklet to tell you how to operate it, your user manual, and your parts catalog and your engine parts catalog. Make sure you read through all that, get accustomed to it. Here's your windshield kit. I like to lay everything out real nice and neat. I've put 100 or so of these together so I don't have to leave them in the bags here, but I just wanted to show y'all that everything is labeled so you know exactly what bolts and nuts goes into everything. Now we're ready to start putting our machine together. Alright, now the first thing we want to do is you want to lift the front of this up. We use the forklift, and the first thing you want to do is hook up your top shock mounts. You just take your bolt right out of your coilover here, press down on your front end, and align it in the hole here, and just slide your bolt right through. And this is a number 14 and a number 13. Just go ahead and tighten it right up. Now I'm hooking up this side here. Do it the same way you done the other side. But I want you to look on this machine how well it's built up here in the front. Everything is double braced. You can see how nice and neat your welds are on it. You got some thick wall tubing here, thick wall tubing here, but it's still lightweight. Up front you've got your sway bar here. There's grease fittings in your sway bar. And then you got nice uppers and lower A-frames with a nice mount here for your sway bar. It's adjustable. Alright, now we're ready to install our tires. Your front tires are your 25 8x12s. You want to put the V pattern, facing forward. First thing you want to do is take your center cap out of the wheel, then lay it to the side. You'll need a number 16 is what you'll need to take these lug nuts off. Now we're just going to set our wheel up there on the studs. Start all of our lug nuts back, turn them on a couple threads, that way they don't strip out or anything. It helps line the wheel up too. Now that we've got them almost started, we're ready to tighten them up. You want to tighten them all up equally. The torque setting on these here is about 65 to 85 pounds. If you got a torque wrench, go ahead and torque them. If you don't, just get you a breaker bar or a socket and ratchet. Make sure you got them good and tight. Go around to the other side. Do the same thing over on the other side. Alright, now we want to do the same thing in the rear of our machine that we've done in our front. Just go ahead and take your shock bolts out. Push down on your rear suspension. Go ahead and use your knee right there. And the shock should line up and the bolt should fall right into place. Alright, now we're ready to tighten this up. You need a number 15 and a number 17 here. Just simply tighten it right up. As soon as you get it tight, just go over there to the other side and repeat the same thing. Alright, now we're finishing up the other side, but I wanted to show you our frame. It's box tubing, it kind of wraps around here. You got your rear sway bar, your upper A-frames, and your lowers. Your lowers have been double braced down there to where they won't break. The coilover goes right to them. And then you got your ventilated disc brakes here. But over here is your differential, and I just wanted to show you where you check it. Right here is your dipstick for your differential fluid. And this is your park brake disc brake here that works off the transaxle in the back too. As you can see, everything's nice and neat. And we're also going to cover up, but this here is the air box. This is where you get your air filter in and out of your machine. Alright, we got the same thing as we had in the front, but we got our 25 10x12. You want to face the V pattern towards the front of the machine. This here is a 410 lug pattern. Same thing, it's on your Rhino. So all your aftermarket Rhino wheels, so interchange, whatever size you want to put on. Just go ahead and just throw it right up on the studs and start your lug nuts. Alright, now we're ready to install our exhaust on the back here. It takes 4 springs, and what we did is we made our own little tool. If you don't want to make this tool, you don't have to, but we just took a piece of the framing and cut one side out of it here with a hacksaw, and that way you can hook it to your spring, and then you can hook your spring down here and just pull it up, put it right in place. If you don't want to make that little bracket, you can use a pair of vice grips, but this right here just works really good, really nice. Put your top springs on, or your bottom, either one, and then go put your bottom ones on. Just like that. Now we're ready to bolt down our muffler. There's a bracket over here on both sides. Slide your bolt in till you tap on. Take a number 10 and a number 12 to tighten these up. Alright, now we're ready for our bed mount. I've done slid it on here. You've got two brackets right here on the back that you want to line it up with. And then you got one up here in the very front. And over here on this side, it's a little tricky. What you want to do is whenever you put this on, you want to slide it up under the air box, because it's got a little tab for the air box to bolt to right there. And here's your bracket on this side. Now all you want to do is just simply bolt this up. These bolts and taps come out of your carrier bracket bag. It takes a number 10 and a number 12 to tighten up your nuts. Just slide your bolts right in. Alright, now we're almost ready to finish up our back or start our back bed. I recommend taking these seats out. Your bolts for your seats are right here. Just slide them up, and they're number 8s. Just take them both out. There's only 2. And your seat should slide right back. Alright, now you want to install your little C-clips here, all around the back of the body here. One goes right here. Another one goes right in between the cowling here. Make sure you turn the thread towards the back. Right in between there. Then one goes up here on the bed. Same thing with the other side. If you smash these in, they kind of hold into place a little bit better too. Alright, now we slid our bed down in here to where everything fit flush. We're going to start our bed bolts. There's just a few around your bed. There's also some water holes here in this bed. Just Phillips with a washer. Just go around and start them all in. There's 3 on this side, 1 in the center, and 3 on that side. Alright, now that we got our bed bolts in, we're going to go ahead and start all these up here. We just start everything before we tighten it up to make sure everything lines up nice and neat. Then after you get it started, go back and tighten it all up. Alright, now that we got everything all buttoned up, we want to go ahead and run our bed wires. You've got a short line here and a long line of wires. Your short goes over here. Everything's color coded. Your yellow to yellow, your blue to blue, and your black to black. After you get them all hooked up here, just take a zip tie, tie everything up neat, and tie it along the rail underneath the exhaust with zip ties. Alright, this is the way your wires should look after you zip tie them. Make sure that you run your light wire here up under your exhaust rail. That way it won't get hot and melt. Everything's nice and neat out of the way. Now we're ready to put our bed covers on for the rear. Alright, now we're ready to put our rear covers in. I've done installed this one. Just simply slide it up underneath the bed like so. And line your holes up. All these are Phillips. It just takes 2 in the top and 1 on the bottom to start them and then tighten them up. Alright, now we're ready to install our sides on here. It's the last thing to finish up our back. You need a bunch of these little clips. It takes 5 up here on the bottom of the bed. It takes 2 right here and 1 right here and then 1 down here. And then you got 2 other clips right here and then you got 1 threaded right here. Once you get all your clips on, you're going to start your bolts. Alright, now we're ready to start our side in. You want to start it down here at the very bottom. Make sure it falls right into place there. And just push her on. Alright, now we're just going to start all these. After we get them all started, then we're going to tighten them up. Alright, now we've got our side in place here. All you want to do is go over to the other side, do the same thing, and that'll pretty much button up the whole back end of this machine. We'll be ready to move on up here to the console. Alright, now we're ready to start our roll cage. We just set the back piece up on here. In the very back, you got a hex head bolt and a hex head nut. One of them's got a little bit of a sleeve on it, and then this one right here is just a complete sleeve. It just screws up into one another. And then you got these half moon washers. You want to put 1 on each side like so. Just slide them in the holes here. And then all you want to do is just start this. You don't want to tighten it. Alright, now you want to just slide your front hood piece over the roll bars here. You want to make sure you put this on before you put your rest of your roll cage on. And once you slide it on, just take your Phillip heads and start all of them across through here. I wouldn't tighten them, I just start all of them. Alright, now we just laid our front roll cage up here. You might need a hand to lay it up there. And we just start our bottom bolts and nuts. This is what they look like. You got a hex head bolt, and the nut looks like that right there. The roll cage keeps the nut locked in place. Just start them through and barely tighten them up. Do the same thing on the other side. Now we've done the same thing. We just slid our two cages together, started our nut and bolts. We're going to start all four. After you get all this done, just go around and tighten all your cage bolts up. Alright, now we're ready to install our seat belts. There's a package of seat belt bolts. Just slide your bolt through the front side here. It's got a little ridge on it. And then you want to take and put a spacer on the back side. And then just simply slide it through your bracket right up here. And start your nut. These are number 14s is what they are, both sides. So you can take a 14 wrench on one side and a 14 socket on the other side and just go ahead and tighten them right up once you get them started. Now your seat belts are ready. Alright, now we're ready to install our shoulder rest. It takes two number 8 bolts. They look like that right there on the top and 2 on the bottom. Just start them in like we have everything else, and then tighten them up once you get them all started. Alright, now we're ready to install our steering wheel. Our steering wheel is splined and our shaft splined. So make sure you got your wheels nice and straight, and then you just want to slide your spokes on like so, to where your spokes are nice and straight. Then start your nut. It's number 17. Once you get it started, just tighten it right up. It's a lock nut. After you get it tightened, right here is what your center cover looks like. It just snaps right on right here, and you just bump it right on and you're all set. Alright, now we're ready to slide our battery in. It just falls right down in the box here. After you got it slid down in there, you want to find your positive cable and your negative cable, and you've also got a positive and a negative winch cable. Your black goes to negative on the battery, your positive goes to positive on the battery. We also put in a good Deca battery. It's made here in the USA. You ain't gonna be stranded out there on the trail because we got a really good battery in these things. Once you start all that, just tighten it up. These are a number 8 on one side and a number 10 on the other. Alright, now we're ready to just put our battery cover on. It takes 8 Phillip head bolts. Just slide your cover on and start all your bolts in. Everything is already pre-threaded in your battery box. Alright, I just wanted to show you where our oil dipstick is on this. You got to take the seat out, and right in there is where your oil dipstick is. Just unscrew it, make sure you check your oil. It's got a serrated edge. Anywhere in there between that, you're good. You won't fill it all the way to the top, and then there's a drain plug on the bottom of the motor. Later on, we're going to make a maintenance video. You'll be able to watch it. We're going to show you how to change your oils and all. But that's a good little reference point right there to check it. Now we're ready to put our seats in. After we put our seats in, we pretty much got everything buttoned up. Now we're ready to move on to the front.